the WordPress Firefight, and Sonos 7 Promises. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by the new MacVoices Discord, available to all of our MacVoices patrons. Sign up and join in the conversation in your new favorite online group at patreon.com/MacVoices. One last story for the evening, because we're already going to run a little bit over. And that is the firefight that's going on between WP Engine and Automattic, the makers of WordPress. And the reason I find this so interesting is that WordPress is, if it's not the number one, it's one of the largest platforms out there on which websites are built. And so, I mean, MacVoices runs on and has run on WordPress sites forever. And I think, Marty, I'm not sure if I think you're using WordPress for vision profiles.
Yeah, I'm moving away from WordPress with
Really?
it. I'm going to be shifting. Yeah, I just had so much struggles with it personally. I just don't have the cognitive, head to put things together with it. So I'm moving to an easier, quicker platform for me. I know they own a big lion's share of the market, but yeah. Sorry, Chuck.
No. Can we ask what you're moving to?
I really would have liked to have moved to Weebly, because that is very nice. But Squarespace took them over, and now their user interface to get in to do the kind of stuff that you can do quickly with Weebly. I was using Rapid Weaver for a long period of time and just wanted to get over to a simpler, throw it up, move it around, do your thing sort of website without all of the design stuff and uploading with Rapid Weaver and such. So, I started to do more things with Weebly, and then Squarespace took them over, and you can't just go in and easily find a way to buy a domain without going through the Squarespace. You got to have a store stuff. And so I actually forget what I'm on now with, I think it's visionprofiles.net is being housed on a site. So.
Okay, because I understand there's a battle going on. This is all secondhand, just sort of general reading. Battle between Wix and GoDaddy for their next or current generation of site and content creation tools. So I was wondering if you looked at any of those.
Yeah, I think I bought the URL I bought visionprofiles.net through GoDaddy, and looking at that as a possibility for that platform. So,
WordPress has become so sophisticated. It's just like any other tool that we've talked about, how it's evolved. It has so many capabilities, but it's gotten harder for the basic user, the average user. And so that's why, and I've mentioned this plenty of times, to do the new MacVoices website, I hired Mike Potter, who's a web developer and also does Mac Conference and Expo, to help me put it together, because I told him what I wanted, and then we worked through, his recommendations, and now I'm super happy with it. And I know how to operate it, but I still have to go to Mike and say, I know how I used to be able to do this. Or if I want to add something, can I do it, or do I need to make sure he's in there so I don't mess things up? So it's still it's a phenomenally powerful platform that they do seem to keep up with and keep current from a security standpoint.
So may I ask, Chuck,
Sure.
Are you hosted at either Automattic or WP Engine or somewhere else?
No. I have Mike recommended a hosting service specifically, and so and I learned a long time ago that if you're working with a developer, you work with them also to pick your hosting service, because it just they have connections with the service, they know the service, they know the goods and the bads of the service, and it's probably part of it that I will never touch unless there's a severe emergency. So Mike recommended one, and I said, great, moving it from where I have hosted it. And it's been a dream.
Okay, so I think we've gone down a rat hole, and I think maybe we should reintroduce the topic for the benefit of our listeners.
Yeah. Well, before I do that, I want to get back to you with what Wayne said, because I said about the photos, and he said correct. They allow you to, but they also allow you to ask questions via Meta's AI interface through an app on your iPhone. It's similar to how voice requests work on ChatGPT. And he said very sophisticated queries as well as basic queries. So he says, because in answer to a question with Marty sent him, he said, I think you'll be impressed with how well they work. Interesting that they have chosen, and we've had this discussion about the Vision Pro, that they've chosen to go through an app on the phone as opposed to trying to build everything into the glasses.
Yeah.
So do you have them on order, Marty?
Yeah, I found a refurbished pair, which knocked about $100 off of them, and wanted transition lenses, which will work better for me than having constantly dark lenses on. So if I'm driving and it gets sunny, I can have that capability if I want. Plus, I can listen to podcasts while my wife and daughter are talking in the car, and not make them listen to my podcast. So I'm going to play around with them.
Yeah, I ask him, and I'll report the outcome. But I wanted to know if the results are displayed, I guess, in glass, or if they're given just audibly when you query it for something.
I would bet it's audibly, because if it was in glass, we'd be back with Google. I mean, Google Glass did some of that in a very, very small screen. You could see emails and text messages and things like that in text versions. But I think this is all audible.
Yeah, I would think so too, especially for the price point. But
yeah.
Hey, you got to ask. You got to ask. Mm-hmm. To Mark's suggestion, the reason I brought up the WordPress thing, but Matt Mullenweg, who is basically is Automattic, is fighting over another service that promotes WordPress called WP Engine. And the upshot, at least of the moment, is that the two of them are, I think they've sued, at least one has sued the other. Probably by now somebody's countersued as well. But Mullenweg, offered any of his employees that didn't agree with the way things were being handled with this conflict, that he would pay them $30,000 or 6 months of salary, whichever is higher, to leave. But they could never come back. They could not be rehired. And the reporting here in the article I put in, roughly 8.4% of the staff accepted that severance package and left. So, and then of course there are the inevitable analyses of, well, is this just a way to thin the herd, or is it a way to control the severance packages, or is it a way to just get rid of the less than true believers? I don't know, but it's turning into a little bit of a soap opera, and it's interesting to watch because it's in the tech community. So if you have paid attention to it, great. If not, maybe fun to check it out. Since we're over time, I've got a couple other things. Oh, there's one last one I'm going to bring up just because we're talking about company approaches, and I'll throw this in real quick. This is Sonos makes 7 promises, including boosted warranties, but customers seem unimpressed. And again, if you're not familiar with this is the whole controversy over the Sonos app that controls their smart speakers and the interface, and just how bad it was. And they keep promising they're going to fix it. They have explained that they could not just bring back the old app because there were infrastructure changes that just made that completely impossible. And so they're trying to recover, and it's a problem. It's a problem because people are not accepting. If they bring it back and get this done in bring a decent backup and get it done on a timely basis, maybe they can survive this. But a lot of us have a lot of money invested in Sonos hardware, and it's tough to have it not functioning the way you want. Say what you will about the HomePods and Apple's S Lady, it seems to be a lot better right now than what Sonos has. And of course, they have their smart assistant. I can't even remember what the smart assistant's name is. That's how useful it was, at least for me.
Wow.
So, anybody here have Sonos gear? Mark, you have some?
No, I have a comment.
You have a comment. No gear. I'm the only one with Sonos gear here? Okay, wow. I know Dave, and I think Jeff has some, and I know Dave has some. So I'm sorry they bugged out. But no, go ahead, Mark, comment.
Yeah, we talked about this before. I think this story originally broke in May or June, if memory serves. And I think at that point, they were having a large layoff. And I read the article you posted, and in the comments, man, there were a lot. It linked to the video, that the new CEO had, and in the YouTube comments, man, there was a lot of sarcasm, a lot of unhappy customers in that world, and it just makes me wonder. Okay, well, if they made this. They launched this thing, they had this problem. They laid off, a lot of their developers, and now they're trying to focus on strengthening their development effort. Isn't this just strike two at alienating and making mistakes in their business? So that's the only thought I had, and ultimately they've got to perform. Promises sound good. 7 promises sounds excessive. They should have tried maybe 2 or 3. 7 promises. We're in a political season. Just sounds like total. I think what Bess Truman tried to get Harry to call manure.
Well, unfortunately, they've made a couple questionable decisions here in the past that may have hinted at some of this. Maybe it hinted at some arrogance, because at one point they were discontinuing the support of some speakers. Then they also were going to, they would give you a discount on a new set of speakers if you were already an owner. But then that previous set of speakers, they were going to turn off functionality. And that really didn't go down well, because that meant you couldn't use them for secondary purposes, or you couldn't sell them and recoup some of your money. So now the 7 promises they've made, part of the blog post, and Mark, to your point, political season, see how many of these sound political to you. Unwavering focus on customer experience, increasing the stringency of pre-launch testing, approaching change with humility. Oh, brother. Appointing a quality ombudsman, extending our home speaker warranties, relentless app improvement, establishing a customer advisory board.
Oh, we're competent and we'll get better. Sorry, I just blew I just blew it.
There's a beep. I really I like Sonos a lot. I love my Sonos speakers when I can get them to function the way I want them to. But this sounds like a company that is in trouble and is trying desperately to get the trust of its customers back.
From reading the comments, I would say it sounds like this is a CEO in trouble who's trying to protect his job and trying to make things better for his customers in order to keep the job.
That may be that's a better analysis, Mark.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting little drama to watch.
Those 7 promises. Those 7 promises make it look like. It draws the reader's attention to all the problems they had.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Marty. I see your point. but I almost feel like the problems are so well known now among Sonos customers that it would be hard not to. It would be hard to draw more attention to them.
Yeah, the comment sections are brutal. They're just brutal.
Yeah. So, and just to report back, Wayne did confirm that the results to queries given to the Meta Ray-Bans are audible. So they're I guess they're going to whisper in your ear a little bit. I don't know how loud they are, but just something to be aware of. Guys, we're way over time. Thank you so much. Thank you to our Jeff and Mark, Jeff and Dave, who had to leave early. Let's go around the room, find out where they can find you all, and then we'll get out of here too. So everything got rearranged. Marty, you're now up in the top left where Dave usually sits. Where can folks find you?
Well, of course, Tuesday nights here with MacVoices, Thursdays with Dave and Jeff and Ben on In Touch with iOS. Next Monday, you can find me and Eric Bolden doing our 25th show on 9 p.m. Eastern Time, YouTube at Vision Profiles, and the Vision Profiles podcast. My Mastodon is Jencius, Jencius at mastodon.social.
Terrific. Thank you, Marty. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Eric Bolden, when you're not soaring with the buzzards, well, that came out wrong.
Well, it's better than soaring with the vultures, so I guess I'm okay.
I don't know what you do with buzzards, but whatever. Where can folks find you?
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at techhub.social. Mondays with Marty, and Tuesdays here.
Great. Thank you so much. Jim Ray, where can folks find you when you're not digging out old T-shirts for us to reminisce with?
That's a full-time job now, so I'm no longer available.
Okay. Well, Jim was available on Mastodon at
ProView Jim, ProVueJim at techhub.social.
But
those days are over.
Yeah, those days are over. Those days are over. Eric and Mark have become known for their backgrounds. I think we've just started something here. Jim's going to become known for his T-shirts.
Move.
There you go, Jim. There's a challenge.
Yeah.
I have a Move T-shirt.
Yeah, I know you do. We've seen that. Yeah. Mark Fuccio, thank you for being here as always. You and your newspaper men in the background. Where can folks connect with you?
At X, at MarkFuccio, or same name on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Web Bixby, it's great to have you. I'm sorry you're having such a rough week and it's only Tuesday, but hopefully it'll just get better.
Let's pray.
Did this help at all?
It helped me get my mind off of it. I'll put it that way. So, and seriously, thank you for letting me join late. Once I was in the car heading home and heard that Jeff and David were jumping off, so I figured that you had to have a slot. So
there's always a slot for you, Webb.
I sacrificed myself for the good of the cause. So anyway, you can find me at what do we like this week? How about I'll go with Mark, and I'll stick with X at WebBixby, WEBBIXBY.
That sounds good. Thanks. You're always welcome. Join early, join late, join often, join whenever. Good to
vote early, vote often. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Well, I wasn't going to go there.
Oh, no politics.
Let's not do that.
I do want to, and I know we're all thinking this, be thinking about our friends in Florida and what they're going to be going through. I have a couple of my friends that are right in the middle of the cone, if you will. So thinking about them, I know we all are. So let's be thinking about them and as we personally, how we like to think about things. So,
yeah, in fact, at least one person in the chat room tonight is in Florida. And so I just hope everyone down there can be safe and it doesn't turn out to be as bad as it looks like it's going to be, because it is looking scary, no question. Sometimes you think we have problems, and then you see some of that, you realize you don't have any problems. With that, on that hopefully positive note, this is MacVoices Live. We do this Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'd love to have you join us in the chat room tonight. A lot of the chat room was backing up the things we were talking about. They were also talking about the situation in Florida and what we hope is not coming. So our best to everyone there. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.